Greetings, judges. My name is Avishai Deshpande, and I'll be your next informative speaker for today. Do you mind if I take off my name tag for the speech? The timer is set to 0, counting up. Judges, if you're all ready. All right, let's begin. Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, the big G. Names. I've always been fascinated by them, especially those belonging to God, the CEO of extremely unique names. Greetings, judges. My name is Avishai Deshpande, and there's probably 3 thoughts rushing through your heads at this very minute. How did he pronounce his first name? I wonder what food we're going to eat after this. Did he just call all of God's names weird? So, first of all, I think they're serving pasta today. And second, yes, this is one of my favorite things about God, because he probably understands the struggles I have with my own special name. I have never had the luxury of finding my name on a mug in a common gift shop. I struggled with my weird name for years, until God showed me the true value of names through the spiritual war over them. In a world where we can identify as anything we like, names mean infinitely more than we realize. That was my thesis. Today, I would like to share with you the 3 most common questions people have about my name. However, these points also reflect the attacks the devil tries to make in the war over our names. Point 1, how do you pronounce that? Point 2, what does your name mean? And lastly, point 3, have you ever thought of changing your name? I come from a long line of different names. Sanking Leela, Jancho, Sudeep, Kanji, Nani, Jeshri, Chanu, Babu, etc. I made half of those names up, and you probably didn't even realize. My entire family, along with millions of other people worldwide, have most definitely run into our first question. How do you pronounce it? Now, this predicament was especially bad for me about 8 years ago. Picture this, a young boy in a crowded doctor's office with a strange name and detrimental lisp. How do you pronounce that? Avitai! Avitai? No, Avitai! I have no idea what was more annoying, people not pronouncing my name right, or the fact that I couldn't even pronounce my name right. But my fight for proper name pronunciation wasn't in vain, because according to famous basketball player Stephen Curry, it's worth millions of dollars. According to Bleacher Report, the athlete dropped a sponsorship of the illustrious sports company Nike because they mispronounced his name as Stefan. As stated by Medium.com in defense of our beloved Vice President Kamala Harris, it's, quote, disrespectful and possibly racist to mispronounce someone's name, intentionally or not, end quote. Yeah, I don't agree with this quote, but this is where we run into our first attack, mispronunciation. It's one of the biggest problems for unusually named people, but it is no excuse to take offense at what most likely is an accident. However, if somebody mispronounces my name on purpose no, it'd be like me referring to my judges as Jud Gez. It just feels weird, right? So, my fair Jud Gez, how do we solve this problem? Grace, because we all can mispronounce names, me included. But as long as we ask questions and try to do the right thing, we are well on our way. I usually answer these questions with an eloquent rhyme worthy of critical praise. Avishai. Hope that helped. Esteemed author Dale Carnegie summed it up pretty well. Quote, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language, end quote. Names have personal value, yes, but they also have prophetic ones. Let's talk about it in my second point. What does your name mean? Namestories.com claims that our names, quote, reflect the hopes and dreams that parents have for their children, end quote. Reverend Sumit Deshpande agrees with it, but takes it a step further. He says, quote, every parent becomes a prophet when they name their child, end quote. Although a very credible source, I did just quote my dad. This, however, is a very popular Middle Eastern saying. What it means is that our names are directly connected to our character. Take the name Isaac. According to thebump.com, in Hebrew, this means one who laughs or rejoices. And thinking of my friend Isaac, this is an eerily accurate description. And even God's names follow this logic, as God who sees me, or God who protects me. But this, judges, does not mean that if you share your name with a certain tyrant, that you're doomed to share their same fate. The devil's second attack is to try and rewrite our names. For example, what comes to mind when I say the name Karen? If you are A, a Gen Zer, B, a parent of a Gen Zer, or C, someone who has been accused of being one of these, then you know what a Karen is. If in fact you didn't fall into any of these categories, let me inform you on these foul beasts. They are creatures overflowing with wrath, demanding to see the manager at your local Walmart or Applebee's. They are the Karens, threat to our peace and minimum wage workers. Take a shot at what the name Karen means. Angry? Scary? It means the pure one. Our names can just be rewritten right in front of us. Doesn't that scare you? What if you had the name Karen, Adolf, Putin, or Darth Vader? How, my attentive Jew guest, can we protect our names from being corrupted? We have to know what our names mean, not what our parents wanted and not what Hitler's parents did. The only view that matters is God's. My name, for example, can be broken down into two sections, gift and father. This can be interpreted as gift of or for the Father. Names are not burdens, but God's blessing. Because I strive to be a gift from God to everyone I meet, whether it's through speech or eating pasta. All of our names have incredible prophetic meaning, yet we ignore them. Maybe people made fun of your name growing up, or maybe you shared your name with millions of other people, leading us to our last question and attack in the speech. Have you ever thought of changing your name? According to BBC, over 50,000 people every year change their names because they weren't satisfied. Maybe you share their sentiment. I know that I have definitely considered changing my name to something more simple and basic, like Adam or Aristotle. But a story keeps me from doing so. It's about a girl with the most basic name ever imaginable. Imnit Sangwa. Yes, that was her real name. She, like thousands of other people, suffered from what is commonly referred to as name dysmorphia. She hated her name. In college, she was going by a shortened version of it, always being provoked when someone tried to use her real one. But then, one night, a still small voice spoke to her and said, Imnit Sangwa, I'm so proud of you. Fast forward 20 years, and Imnit Sangwa has 3 kids with equally strange names that are proud to know her story. And if you didn't guess already, she's my mom, and it's her story that gives me confidence in my own name. But Jesus changed some of his disciples' names. I hear you, fair jockeys. And the simple answer to this question is identity. Remember the Apostle Paul, which means humble? He was once Saul, the arrogant Christian killer. Or Peter, which means strong? Well, he was once Simon the sensitive. Sometimes Jesus will prompt us to change our names when he's removed us from an old identity. And other times, he doesn't. And that's okay, because our names can be testimonies for what God has done. And this applies to everyone. John, Mary, Heather, Michael. This war is over all of our identities, over all of our names. Your name has meaning, prophecy, truth. Don't let that fade away. After this speech, you should look up what your names mean. Write it down in the ballot if you want to. Just perhaps you will find and rediscover God's purposes for you. To wrap up, joggies, I have informed you on just how important names are, the weird and the regular. So important that the devil will try and attack them through mispronunciation, bad history, and name dysmorphia. And if you still need proof on why mispronunciation hurts so much, get ready. Greetings, judges. My name is Avishai Deshpande. Am I pronouncing your name right? Imagine giving this feeling to everyone you know. Look, I know I've been goofing around throughout the speech, but this message is sincere. I decided to write this because we live in a world where our identities are blurry. We can't find a concrete truth. And at the end of the day, our names don't signify who we are, but rather whose we are. A name gave us our identities, the name. Our names are so much more valuable than we realize because God invests himself into each and every one, whether your name is Karen or Cinti. So next time you pray to God, maybe use his other names which I found translated by Love Worth Finding. Pray to Yehovah Yireh, the Lord who will provide the right name pronunciation. To Yehovah Rapha, the Lord who heals you of your name dysmorphia. Or just pray to Jesus Christ, the name above all names. Now let's just hope I pronounced all those correctly. Thank you.